Welcome to the second episode of the Road to Happiness show. I'm your host, Felipe Windmuller, and in this podcast, I interview legendary philosophers brought to life through the magic of imagination to uncover timeless wisdom about happiness and how we can lead more fulfilling lives. In our last episode, we had the privilege of speaking with Plato, who shared his profound insights on virtue, wisdom, and the pursuit of the good. Today, we're continuing our journey by welcoming Plato's most famous student, none other than Aristotle. Aristotle was born in 384 before the Common Era in Stagira, Greece, and is one of history's most remarkable philosophers and thinkers. As a student of Plato and later a tutor to Alexander the Great, he founded the Lyceum in Athens and contributed to an astounding array of fields, from ethics and politics to logic, biology, and metaphysics. His Nicomachean Ethics remains a cornerstone of philosophy, exploring the idea of achieving happiness, what he called eudaimonia, through a virtuous and reasoned life. Aristotle, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's dive right in. What is happiness?
Felipe, my friend, it is a joy to join you on this esteemed journey toward understanding the good life. Let us begin with the essence of happiness, or eudaimonia, as I have often called it. Happiness is not a fleeting emotion, a passing pleasure, or a stroke of fortune. It is the highest good, the ultimate end that we all aim for in life. Eudaimonia is achieved by living in accordance with virtue, guided by reason, and fulfilling the potential that is uniquely human. To flourish, one must cultivate virtues, both moral and intellectual. These are not merely habits, but states of character developed through deliberate and thoughtful action. Moral virtues, such as courage and temperance, arise from finding the mean between deficiency and excess, what I call the golden mean. For instance, true courage lies between rashness and cowardice. Similarly, intellectual virtues like wisdom and understanding are cultivated through learning and reflection. Happiness, then, is an activity, a way of living, rather than a static state. It is realized over a complete life through the harmonious exercise of virtue in pursuit of the highest goods. To borrow the metaphor of archery, the life of eudaimonia is one where you aim well, guided by reason and virtue, at the highest mark. And remember, my friend, happiness is not achieved in isolation. We are by nature social beings, and a life well lived is intertwined with the well-being of the community. It is within the polis, or the society, that we cultivate relationships, justice, and a shared sense of good.
You've brought up many fascinating points about happiness, Aristotle, and there's one I'd like to dive into further. You said that happiness is not a fleeting emotion, a passing pleasure, or a stroke of fortune. Could you elaborate on that? In life, we all experience moments of joy, such as celebrating the birth of a child or witnessing a breathtaking sunset, and moments of profound sorrow, like losing a loved one or facing failure. How do these highs and lows fit into your vision of a flourishing life?
Felipe, your question strikes at the heart of what it means to live fully as a human being. Let us examine it with care. The highs and lows of life, those moments of great joy and deep sorrow, are indeed part of the human experience. However, they are not the essence of happiness in the sense of eudaimonia. These emotions and experiences are transient. They come and go, often influenced by factors beyond our control. The flourishing life I speak of is not swayed entirely by these moments, but is instead built upon a steadier foundation. Happiness, as I define it, is a lifelong activity rooted in the exercise of virtue. It is about the quality of the life as a whole. While a sunset can inspire wonder and the birth of a child can bring deep joy, these moments contribute to a flourishing life only when they align with virtuous living and thoughtful action. Likewise, sorrow and failure, though painful, can serve as opportunities for growth and the cultivation of resilience, a virtue itself. Consider this: a truly happy person is not one who never faces adversity, but one who navigates the highs and lows with wisdom, courage, and temperance. Such a person does not let fleeting pleasures or misfortunes dictate the course of their life, but instead remains steadfast in their commitment to the good. Moreover, emotions are not to be dismissed. They are integral to our nature. The key is to allow reason to guide them. A virtuous person experiences joy and sorrow appropriately, rejoicing in what is noble and grieving what is truly a loss, but always with a sense of proportion and perspective. In short, eudaimonia is about thriving in a way that weathers the storms of fortune and celebrates the sunny days without losing sight of the ultimate aim, a life lived in harmony with virtue and reason. Does this resonate with your own reflections on life, my friend?
Yes, Aristotle, I understand now. Happiness isn't based on these fleeting moments of joy or sorrow, but as you said, on the quality of the life as a whole. You mentioned that true happiness is rooted in the exercise of virtue. Could you elaborate on what you mean by virtue, and how can we, in our daily lives, cultivate and practice it effectively?
Felipe, what a thoughtful and practical question to consider. Virtue, as I see it, lies at the very heart of a flourishing life. It is the quality that enables us to live well by aligning our actions with reason, the guiding principle of human nature. Virtue has two main forms: moral and intellectual. Moral virtues, such as courage, temperance, and justice, shape our emotions and desires, steering them toward the right balance. These are not innate, but cultivated through habit. For example, we become brave by repeatedly facing our fears in a measured way. Intellectual virtues, like wisdom and understanding, refine our reason and guide our decision-making. These come through teaching, experience, and reflection. To cultivate virtue in daily life, one must aim for the golden mean in all things, finding the balance between extremes. Take generosity as an example. It lies between the vices of stinginess and wastefulness. To practice it, one must thoughtfully consider how and when to give. Living virtuously also involves awareness and choice. Acts of virtue are not accidental. They are intentional and stem from a firm character. So, my friend, if you wish to cultivate virtue, start by reflecting on your habits. Are they aligned with reason and contributing to a harmonious life? Then practice those virtues deliberately until they become second nature. Finally, let us not forget the role of society. Surround yourself with others who aspire to virtuous living, for we are deeply influenced by the company we keep. The shared pursuit of excellence uplifts us all. In this way, the road to happiness is paved not merely with individual effort, but with a shared dedication to the good.
Let me make sure I've understood you correctly so far. Happiness isn't found in fleeting emotions, but in the overall quality of a life well lived. To achieve it, we must cultivate virtue by developing both our moral and intellectual abilities. And this journey isn't one we take alone. We should strive to surround ourselves with others who share this commitment to living virtuously. Am I capturing your ideas accurately?
Felipe, my friend, you've captured my thoughts beautifully, as if you've walked this road with me for years. Indeed, happiness, or eudaimonia, is the culmination of a life lived in harmony with virtue and reason. It is not measured by moments of joy or sorrow, but by the steadfast pursuit of excellence over the course of a lifetime. Virtue, both moral and intellectual, is the compass that guides us. Moral virtues shape our character, enabling us to act rightly and consistently, while intellectual virtues sharpen our reason, allowing us to discern what is truly good and how best to achieve it. And yes, this journey is inherently social. We are creatures of the polis, bound to others in a web of relationships. To flourish, we need friendships and communities that encourage us toward the good. Just as a single bee cannot thrive without the hive, so too does our happiness depend on the support and shared aspirations of those around us. You've understood my ideas perfectly, Felipe. I could not have put it more succinctly myself.
Thank you for your kind words, Aristotle. You are famously remembered as the teacher of Alexander the Great. His remarkable conquests, from Greece and Egypt to India, including the Persian Empire, spread Hellenistic culture across 3 continents and forever changed the course of history. It's hard to imagine what the world of 2024 would look like had he not achieved these feats. In your view, did Alexander the Great live a virtuous life? Would you say he walked the road to happiness you've described, or did his ambitions lead him away from true eudaimonia?
Ah, Felipe, what a profound question you pose about my once pupil, Alexander. He was a man of extraordinary gifts and boundless ambition, whose deeds reshaped the world in ways still felt in your time. Yet, to ask whether he lived virtuously and achieved eudaimonia is to probe deeply into the nature of his character and choices. Alexander's achievements, his military brilliance, his unification of cultures, and his vision of a vast, interconnected world were monumental. He exhibited virtues such as courage, determination, and a keen intellect. These qualities undoubtedly contributed to his greatness as a leader and a conqueror. Yet, my friend, we must also consider the means and ends of his actions. Did his conquests serve the highest goods, or were they driven by personal ambition and the desire for glory? True happiness, as I have said, lies in a life guided by reason and virtue, not in the pursuit of power or the accolades of others. Alexander's quest for dominion over others, while impressive, may have strayed from the balance and self-mastery that virtue demands. The insatiable nature of his ambition suggests he was not content with what he achieved, but always yearned for more. Moreover, his treatment of those he conquered, and even at times those closest to him, raises questions about his adherence to justice and temperance. A truly virtuous ruler governs not as a despot, but as a steward of the common good, nurturing the well-being of the polis. In the end, my view of Alexander is bittersweet. He embodied many virtues, but perhaps fell short of the harmony and balance required for eudaimonia. His life, though extraordinary, seemed marked by unrest, both outward and inward. I wonder whether, in his quiet moments, he truly found the peace that comes from living in accordance with reason and virtue. What do you think, Felipe? Can ambition and the drive for greatness ever align fully with the life of true happiness?
That's a challenging question, Aristotle, and one worth deep reflection. In my view, ambition and the drive for greatness, when kept in balance, can indeed be positive forces. They provide us with purpose and motivation, giving direction to our lives. I believe having meaningful goals to pursue is essential for our growth and fulfillment. However, as you wisely caution, there's a fine line to walk. If unchecked, ambition can consume us, leading to imbalance and even harm. We must be vigilant not to let our aspirations overshadow our sense of reason or our commitment to virtue. After all, much of what happens in life is beyond our control. If we tie our happiness too closely to the outcomes of our ambitions, we risk falling into frustration or despair when those goals remain unmet. Perhaps the key lies in pursuing our goals with dedication and courage, while maintaining the wisdom to accept life's uncertainties and the humility to align our ambitions with the greater good. What do you think, Aristotle? How can we strike this balance between striving for greatness and living virtuously?
Felipe, your reflections are thoughtful and perceptive, truly worthy of a philosopher in the making. You're right to note that ambition, when balanced, can be a force for growth and fulfillment. The challenge lies in ensuring that it serves virtue rather than undermines it. The balance you seek begins with clarity of purpose. Ask yourself, to what end does my ambition strive? Is it directed toward the noble and the good, or is it driven by vanity, greed, or a hunger for dominance? True greatness, my friend, lies not in the mere accumulation of power or achievements, but in the contributions one makes to the flourishing of others and the harmony of the whole. To keep ambition aligned with virtue, cultivate what I call practical wisdom, or phronesis. This virtue allows us to discern the right means and ends in our pursuits, ensuring that we neither fall short of our potential nor overreach in ways that harm ourselves or others. Practical wisdom helps us recognize when to press forward with courage and when to step back with temperance. Equally important is the recognition of life's uncertainties. As you wisely observe, much is beyond our control. Here the virtue of resilience plays a role. Strive with all your might, but accept with grace what cannot be altered. This acceptance doesn't signify weakness, but a profound strength that comes from living in harmony with reason and nature. And finally, surround yourself with friends and mentors who share your commitment to the good. Their counsel and companionship can help you navigate the storms of ambition, ensuring you stay grounded in virtue while pursuing the heights of greatness. In sum, Felipe, pursue your goals with vigor, but always let virtue and reason guide your path. Greatness achieved without harmony or integrity is but a hollow victory. True fulfillment lies in the balanced union of striving and flourishing, a life that serves both your own good and the good of those around you.
Aristotle, it has been an extraordinary honor to have you on the Road to Happiness show. I've learned so much from your insights, and I'm certain our audience has gained a great deal as well. Thank you deeply for sharing your wisdom with us. Before we conclude, would you like to leave a final message for those of us navigating life in the world of 2024?
Felipe, my friend, the honor has been mine. To converse with you and your audience about the profound questions of life is a joy that resonates deeply with my purpose as a philosopher. Let me leave you with this final thought. In your modern world, as in my own time, life presents boundless opportunities and challenges. The pace of life may be faster now, and the distractions more numerous, but the essence of a flourishing life remains unchanged. Seek always to live with purpose, guided by reason and virtue. Do not measure your worth by fleeting pleasures, material wealth, or the approval of others. Instead, let the pursuit of the good, the cultivation of wisdom, and the fostering of harmonious relationships be the foundation of your happiness. Remember, true fulfillment is not achieved in isolation, but through the shared pursuit of excellence with others. Build communities of kindness, understanding, and justice. Embrace both the wonders and uncertainties of existence with a courageous and grateful heart. Above all, never cease to learn, reflect, and strive toward your highest potential. For the road to happiness is not a destination, but a lifelong journey, a path made radiant by the light of virtue and reason. Thank you, Felipe, and farewell to you and your listeners. May your days be filled with purpose and your lives a testament to the power of the good.